Okay, we move into the busy and crucial December period in the 2017-2018 story, and we start off at 12:30 on Saturday lunchtime with Chelsea versus Newcastle. I guess given the relative form of the two sides, plenty of people will see it's an absolute home banker. Just how sure are Chelsea if you want to back them, Ed?
They are currently 2-9, the draw is 11-2, and the Geordies are 14-1.
We'll stick with you, Ed. What's going to happen here?
Yeah, well, Newcastle have only had one away win all season. That was at Swansea. The other games, they've lost 3 of them and drawn 2. I watched them against Watford last weekend in St James's, and they were shocking. Like, they were awful. They salvaged a result against West Brom during the week. But like Chelsea, for me, Chelsea will definitely win this. With the system Newcastle play, like Hosselu's, definitely away from home. They play Hosselu, or there's talk of Mitrovic coming in this weekend up top on his own with like a Perez or someone behind him. I just think it's very ineffective, and they're too isolated. Like, also they're missing Lascelles at the back really badly. I think this combined with Kante's return at Chelsea, I just see Chelsea to win 2-0 as a cracking bet at 5-6. Like Chelsea have only conceded once at home with Kante and team, and that was at Burnley on the opening day of the season, where they were probably caught cold and they fielded a slightly weaker team as well. So Chelsea to win 2-0 for me at 5-6.
That seems to make perfect sense. What about you, Mark?
Yeah, I've got Chelsea to win 2-0 as well. Bruce,
show me your notes. Yeah, he did.
I mean, Newcastle. Benitez has been digging out the ball, hasn't he? In the last few days, I think he's probably trying to get a reaction for January to make sure he's got money to spend. There's only so much he can do with the squad of players that he's got. I mean, they are just spiralling a little bit into trouble. I think they'll be okay with him in charge, but 1 point from a possible 12. And Chelsea, 4 of their last 5 Premier League games have been 1-0. The one exception was the 1-1 at Liverpool when Conte was quite defensive in that game. I just can't really see Newcastle troubling Chelsea defensively. The other bet I was looking at was draw Chelsea double result, because I mean Swansea set up and frustrated them for the first 45 minutes on Wednesday night, and I'm assuming that Benitez will try the same. He was quite attacking at Old Trafford against Manchester United, and they ended up on the wrong end of a 4-1 there eventually, so I don't think he'll make that mistake again.
How many do you reckon Chelsea might score, Mark?
2.
2. Okay, Dan, what do you reckon here?
Yeah, I hate to be a dreadful bore, but I've got Chelsea win 2-0 as well on this
one.
Well,
we love that. 3 yeses for that.
Yeah, no, pretty much same argument. I mean, Chelsea were just quietly churning the results out, going a little bit. Nobody's really talking about them, but they're picking up points regularly. I mean, the cruise. I know that was 1-0 against Swansea. It was cruise control, 21 shots to 2 on the stats. So they've had a cruise. Newcastle have come back and got that result against West Brom, but would have had to work hard to get it as well. So you wonder as well, with a fairly small squad there, there might be a bit of tiredness coming into play as well. So I think I could have considered the way Benitez sets his teams out. I could have considered that draw Chelsea double result if Lascelles had been playing and they're a bit more tighter at the back. They don't look tight at the moment at the back. The Watford game's been mentioned. Conceded another 2 in the week, 4 at Manchester United. They just don't look solid, which is what Benitez teams usually are. So I think Chelsea comfortable here, 2 or 3-0.
That was easy. The lads all think Chelsea to win 2-0 at 5-6. Right then, 5:30. Will there be agreement on this? This is an absolute cracker. The game of the weekend. It's Arsenal versus Manchester United at the Emirates. And Ed, what's the latest betting?
So Arsenal are 6-4, the draw is 9-4, and United are 15-8.
Ooh, Mark, what do you think?
I've been round and round in circles with this game. I think you could make a case for all 3 outcomes. I'm going to the goals angle, under 2.5 goals. I mean, often been said, Jose Mourinho in these big games, he just doesn't change his type no matter what anybody says about him. It's the same, and I don't anticipate anything different. He's not going to allow Sanchez and Ozil the kind of space that they enjoyed against Tottenham, because if you do that, then they can really hurt you. As far
Will
as
Sanchez be playing up top, do you think?
He could do, although I mean, Welbeck's another option there, and Welbeck actually probably sets the press quite well. As Lacazette, I mean, Lacazette's maybe not as silky as some of them other Arsenal players, but he sets the press very well, works tirelessly for the team. But I was just having a look at the results between the big 6. If you take out Manchester City, who are just almost in a league of their own, there's been 8 matches this season between them. 6 of those were under 2.5 goals. Manchester United's 1-0, 1-0, 0-0, and Arsenal, since they were hammered 4-0 at Liverpool, really tightened up with a 0-0 at Chelsea, the 2-0 against Tottenham as well. The other one that went over was Tottenham v Liverpool. So I mean, Liverpool are the one there, probably unsurprisingly, that get involved in games that are probably more end to end than the others. But
do you think Arsenal are slightly underrated in terms of their defensive quality?
No. Not really.
You still think they've got a
I
Rick
still
in them?
think they have. I still think that they do allow, probably more opportunities against them than most of the other big six. Liverpool would be the other ones in there. But if you have a look at actually on paper, they have tightened right up. So
what's the unders then? What price are unders?
Unders is, I think 10 to 11. It's
10
like
to
8
11.
to 2. I mean, I'd back unders at 10 to 11 in any big game involving Jose Mourinho.
That seems to make perfect sense to me. Dan, what do you think?
I don't think Arsenal will lose this game, so I think Arsenal draw no bets around 8 to 11. I mean, back to the Mourinho away from home tactics. I mean, he's had since he's joined United, they've had 8 games away against the big six. They've not won any of them. They've lost 5 of them. The other 3, the draws, were all 0-0 draws. Goals for United 1, goals against 10. I mean, those are damning statistics really for United under Jose away from home. Arsenal, I think that the key for them here is whether they not to push too much, not overextend themselves. United are going to look to sit in and hit them on the break, and did it the way they played away to Liverpool, the 0-0 earlier in the season. Liverpool and Klopp were criticised for not going attacking enough, but they still had most of the game, had some good chances to win the game, and quite understandably didn't want to expose themselves to the risk of losing the game. They're still with a better team, so I think Arsenal, as long as they're not too gung-ho, the worst that's going to happen for them is a draw, and every chance they'll win it.
And Ed, what's your verdict on this one?
Yeah, no, I agree entirely with everything Mark said there. I've the unders here at 2.5. I thought it looked big at 10 to 11 too. I think it's a cracking bet. The only thing I could add to it, or another angle to the game, is that with Lacazette out, Sanchez will probably play further up the pitch. Now, that hinges, like they may go with Giroud, but if Sanchez does play further up the pitch in central, in Lacazette's normal role, he could be worth the dabble at 92 as well. But yeah, under 2.5 would be my main bet at 10 to 11 here.
Okay, let's rattle through the 3 p.m. non-televised Premier League games. Ed, we'll start with you. Give us a show of betting and then a very quick fire verdict. So Brighton v Liverpool.
Brighton versus Liverpool. Brighton are 11 to 2. The draw is 100 to 30, and Liverpool are 1 to 2.
And who's going to win?
I'll go with Brighton double chance there.
Okay, Dan.
Yeah, I'll go with the draw. Brighton will cause them problems from set pieces.
Mark.
Liverpool to win by 1 goal.
1 goal. Okay, then we've got Everton, Huddersfield. Ed.
So Everton are 4 to 6. The draw is 11 to 4, and it's 4 to 1 Huddersfield. I will go with a draw there as well.
Dan?
Yeah, I'll go with the draw. Everton too short.
Okay, Mark.
I think I'd give a chance to Huddersfield. I think they may be just down tools against Arsenal a little bit there and saved themselves for this game.
Okay. Leicester versus Burnley, Ed.
8 to 11 Leicester, 13 to 5 the draw, and Burnley are 4 to 1. I will go with tentatively Leicester there at 8 to 11.
Mark.
No goal scorer. Burnley not allowing Leicester the space for Vardy to run into behind.
Similar attack, under 2.5 goals. Leicester like to counter attack. Burnley will sit in. It could be a stalemate.
And Stoke versus Swansea.
Stoke 5 to 6, the draw 12 to 5, and Swansea are 7 to 2.
And what's going to happen?
I'll go with Swansea there at 7 to 2.
Why?
I just think Stoke are so all over the shop. You couldn't be backing them at 5 to 6 for me, even against the poor Swansea side. So they might spring a surprise, and at 7 to 2, I'd give them a dabble there.
Righty ho, Dan. Bit of a clash of styles, this, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Stoke. They tend to get a win when they really need it. They're the second highest scorers of the teams in the bottom half. Swansea just seemed to me on a downward spiral at the moment.
Yeah, I thought Stoke as well. Swansea averaging fewer than 2 shots on target per game. They've just got no attack.
When's Pulis taking over, do you think?
Well, that's not their problem, is it? They need somebody, I think, to coach with the other end. But yeah, he will be favourite, won't he, for that job when it becomes available, and
will.
it may not be long.
Watford versus Tottenham, which brings back memories of Glenn Hoddle's exquisite chip in the early 80s. If you've never seen that goal, do YouTube it. It's an absolute beauty. How are we betting there, Ed?
So Watford are 7 to 2. The draw is 3 to 1, and Tottenham are 8 to 11. I'll go with Watford at 7 to 2 there.
Yeah, that sounds big. Mark?
Over 2.5 goals. Watford have taken some real batterings against the two Manchester clubs. Even against Arsenal, they conceded, but they've got a real threat going forward. Tottenham missing Alderweireld at the back, but obviously got Kane, Ali, Ericsson, etc.
Is that short, the overs?
Well, I mean, if it is, you can always play the over 3.5. Might be a better way in.
Dan?
Yeah, I'm similar tack, but I'll go 2-2 draw at 12-1. I think there'll be goals in this. Watford's games in the Prem of 49 goals they produce, which is 3.5 per game.
Presumably, if you're sitting in a nice bar somewhere overseas, that's the 3 p.m. game they should be showing, isn't it?
Brighton v Liverpool is probably a big runner in that one.
I don't suppose West Brom Palace is going to be live. What's the latest bet in there, Ed?
So West Brom are 7-5, the draw is 21-10, and Palace are 21-10 as well. I go with draw there myself anyway.
Dan?
Yeah, it screams draw to me. I don't think either side. I think they'll be more fearful of losing the game than trying to win it.
Mark?
Probably strongest 3 p.m. Bet here. Palace draw no bet. I think they're just quite a bit better than West Brom. I think they're a mid-table team almost, Palace.
Yeah, good. The only thing is, without boring everyone, he's played 4-4-2 against Brighton. He's got Wilf next to Benteke because he doesn't like him isolated. But it leaves Ruben Loftus-Cheek, ineffective out wide. I'd go 4-2-3-1, play Loftus-Cheek behind Benteke, get whipped with Wilf and Andros and go at him. I wish he'd do that, but he's doing a good job, right? Okay, so fascinating Saturday, and we're going to get the naps, and then we'll look at Sunday. So let's do the naps.
This will not be beaten.
Dan Childs, you can go first.
Yeah, I'm going for it. It's an all League Two clash in the FA Cup. Exeter at Forest Green. Exeter to win the game. They're fourth in League Two at the moment. Won 2-0 against promotion rivals Accrington last weekend. Was a really good performance. Forest Green is 16 points behind them in League Two. So I think Exeter will show why they're much better.
Mark Langdon?
I'm FA Cup as well. Luton to win at Gateshead. They have been backed, but I still think that there's probably juice in the price. Well, they were 4-5 earlier.
Really?
Yeah, they were 4-5 at Gateshead when the prices first went up. I think they're sort of 7-10, 4-6ish now, but still looks pretty solid. They picked a strong team when they beat Portsmouth in the last round. Scored 12 goals in their last 3 matches. Gateshead 15th in the National League. There aren't many stats knocking around for the National League, so I'm not sure if that's a true reflection of where they should be. But from just speaking to Dan, who knows the non-league, he doesn't think they're anything better than mid-table. And I mean, Luton look like they could be sort of top 6 League One team at the moment.
And they can really open up on you, can't they?
They can,
well?
and they're
a few flashy scorers.
The problem is that they're a little bit more negative on the road, but obviously a replay not ideal for Nathan Jones and his squad, given they want promotion. So I'm expecting a more aggressive performance.
Okay, I'm going to oppose Brentford, who they've got another West London derby, haven't they? It's Fulham, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, Fulham are a hard old team to get right.
So are
but
Brentford.
Well, they are very difficult, but I just looked at the prices and thought Fulham looked a bit too big at 23-10 or whatever they are. Ed, what's your nap?
Okay, so I'm going to go with Napoli at 11-10 to beat Juventus. Those prices kind of rate these two teams the exact same, or maybe Napoli slightly better, but I think Napoli are a good bit better now at this stage, and I expect them to win this match and hopefully tighten their grasp on the title, their first one since 1990 it would be. Higuain's a doubt for Juventus as well. I just think they look very vulnerable at the back. They conceded 3 in their last game against Sampdoria away. So, yeah, Napoli for me, 11-10. Just this game's on Friday as well, just to let people know as well.
Jolly good. Let's look at Sunday next.